Thank you very much. Yeah, good morning, everyone. As she said, I'm leading the blockchain business for IBM in Hamburg, Austria and Switzerland since about 1.5 years. And as you all know, there's a lot about blockchain in the past that you have seen, that you've heard. Does this work? No, it doesn't. Before. Numbers. Okay, I need to be here. Okay. All right. So, yes. So, we all have seen, heard, and read a lot about blockchain in the past years, and there has been a big hype. All right. So there has been a big hype around blockchain in the past years, and as we have seen in one of the presentations this morning, the hype is over, but that's good. Because as we all know, blockchain is not just cryptocurrency, it's not just Bitcoin, there's a lot more in blockchain that blockchain can deliver value. And what I'm doing together with my team at IBM, we're focusing on enterprises, so it's not about this tokenizing cryptocurrency business that a lot of people in the world are focusing on around blockchain. So the hype is over, and this is good, and I would like to give you some examples as of today, what we are doing with blockchain, real examples, projects that we have live and in production. There are about 80 products, 80 solutions that are in place as of today. And just to give you a flavor on what this is about, sorry that this is in German, I think that's the only one. It's about the mining of cobalt in Africa. It's about child work, it's about working conditions, it's about a very difficult environment in Africa. And it's not just cobalt, there are much more metals and other materials that have a focus like tantalum, like gold coming in the next years. It's about sustainability, and there are a lot of rules and regulations that companies need to take into account. And blockchain will be the solution, the technology that will help the companies to provide the data and information to be compliant and to be sustainable in this very specific and very difficult environment. There's another solution that you might want to look at. Just take out your smartphone, please, and scan this QR code. I know normally we tell you put the mobiles off, but now this day, take them out. Scan the QR code, and then you should get this page, and then you will be asked to enter some numbers, and you choose either on the left-hand side, the 078 and then the 2 at the end, or you choose the 079 and then the 1 at the end. Just enter these 4 digits, 078 and 2, 079 and 1. And then it's not only that they open, then you will see, it's in French, don't worry, but then you will see an app that we are providing together with Carrefour. It's one of the biggest retailers in Europe, coming out of France, and together with Nestlé. It's an app that we are providing for the consumers that are buying this mashed potatoes in the supermarket. And these informations that you see, if you scroll it down with your finger, you see how this mashed potato has been made. What is the mixture of the potatoes? Where do they come from? When they have been sown? When they have been brought to production? What about the quality management? Who did the quality management? When they did it? When the potatoes have been delivered from the farmer to Nestlé? When they have done the production? When they have been delivered from Nestlé to Carrefour? Since when they are in the stock or in the supermarket? So every information about the life cycle of a potato from the farmer up to when you are buying it in a supermarket. So it is about transparency, and it is about trust It is about trust and speed and security. And this is what we focus on when we in IBM focus on blockchain projects in the enterprise space. And these two examples, with this cobalt mining in Africa, and then this mashed potato, an app that we have already built that is already available all over France and all the Carrefour markets, supermarkets, together with Nestle on this product, should give you a view on what we are currently doing. The basis for everything, as I said, Bitcoin is not everything, is Hyperledger Fabric. So all the projects we are currently working on, I said 80 to 85 projects are already in production, but there are a lot more, about 600 we are working on a global perspective, are based on Hyperledger Fabric, as we truly believe Hyperledger is the basis in an enterprise environment because of performance, because of security, because of everything that we need to make it as reliable and as performant for the companies in this world. So Hyperledger Fabric is the technology, and as you know, this is just a view on the members of the Linux Foundation. There are a lot of companies supporting it, especially companies not only in the IT, like Daimler, like Airbus, like JP Morgan out of the banking space, a lot of companies focusing on the open source. And open source is one of the other elements why we have chosen Hyperledger Fabric, because everything we do in the blockchain space is open. We have open APIs, we're communicating all the APIs for everyone so that they know what's going on and how they could link up to the platforms we have built. Open source, we're providing the source code and everything we do in the space so that everyone knows what it is about and everyone can join. If there are startups, it makes it much more easier for them to be part of the party. So Hyperledger Fabric is the base on everything we do. And as I said, there are a lot of solutions in all the industries we are currently working on, 600 projects in the different spaces, and I've chosen 3 of these projects that I would like to introduce to you today to give you a flavor, just aside the 2 first slides with the cobalt and the mashed potatoes. So the first is around supply chain. And supply chain is very much dependent on sea freight. So more than 80% of the goods that we are using, that we are eating, that we are drinking, at a point of time have been on an ocean around the world. So being produced somewhere in Taiwan, brought up to BMW at their plant, or somewhere coming out of South Africa or South America, looking at fruits, vegetables that don't grow here in Europe. So 80%, more than 80% coming via the ocean. So therefore we have chosen Maersk, the biggest container company in the world, to build this solution that's called Trade Lens. Trade Lens addressing 2 specific use cases. The first is paperless trade, as the logistics is very much dependent on paper, and paper is inefficient, producing errors, it's very cost intensive, so the demand, the challenge in this industry to get rid of the paper and make it digital. So this is the first use case, and the other is, as we call it, supply chain insight, to increase the transparency. Where is my container? Where is my good? It has started somewhere in South America, but still has not come over here to Hamburg, to the harbor. So where is it? It's still at the customs 2 days longer than planned and expected. Why? Where is my container? Where is the good? When can I expect to get my products into my supply chain, into my store, into my retail shop? So supply chain transparency and paperless trade are the 2 use cases we are focusing on, and we've chosen a very easy first use case. We've asked the question, how complex is it to bring an avocado from Mombasa, Kenya, to Rotterdam? And as you can see, it's quite complex. You see, you need 30 actors, means organization or companies. You need more than 100 people, and you need to have more than 200 information exchanges, means documents. More than 200 just for the avocado from Mombasa to Rotterdam. So this is a lot. As I said, it's very complex, cost intensive, and very inefficient. So therefore we've chosen these 2 use cases. We're currently, from the left to right, addressing the entire ecosystem. So if it's the electronic company in Taiwan, or as I said, the plantage in South America, wherever you look in the world, wherever you start to deliver containers of product around the world, we bring all of these companies onto this platform. This platform is live for about 1.5 years. We have 160 160 companies at this point of time already on the platform, working. They have already delivered 400 million events that are being traced, being delivered via this platform. This platform is live, is in production, and here you can see these two use cases. In the middle you see the shipping milestones and shipment data. This is exactly what I said. When does the container arrive at the harbor? The container is at the customs. The container has left the customs. The terminal operator has loaded the container on the ship, and so on and so on. So all the events that you have on your supply chain with your product, these events are on the blockchain and in the relevant repositories. And as I said, so far more than 400 million of these events have already been put into this platform. And then you find documents, so there are a lot of them. It's the bill of lading that defines the ownership of the product. You have your shipping instructions, you have customer clearance, you have invoices, import documentations, and so on and so on. So a lot of paper, and we are digitizing these documents to make all the processes much more efficient. Where are we with this journey? As you can see, we have started at the beginning of 2018 after we have developed this product together with Maersk. We have started with a kind of early adopter program with about 90 companies to drive the maturity of the product. And since late summer last year, this product is live, as I said, in production. And the latest very, very important events for us have been in May and June, when 4 of the big carriers, so Hapag-Lloyd out of Hamburg, MSC out of Switzerland, CMA CGM out of France, and ONE out of Singapore have decided to join this platform as well. And this means now that at the end of this year, we will have 60% of the global sea freight container capacity on this platform. 60%. And this means about 70 million containers that will be traced, that will be tracked, that will be negotiated via this platform. So it's working, it delivers value, and as you can see, I'm flipping over quite quickly. I will provide the data later on via the organization, but there are a lot of companies joining. These are the key carriers. We have 5 of the top 6 now on this platform. We are working together, and that's very important, with all the governments around the world, because having documents digitized is nice, but you need to accept them in a legal and regulatory perspective. You all remember the discussion we had in Germany when an email will be accepted, right? To be legal, to be official. It took a long time. So this is even more complex, looking at all these customs, all these different country-specific laws around the world. So we've chosen the most important for us, like Russia, South America, North America, Asia, Europe, so the ones with the biggest harbors that are relevant for us to make this solution work. And as I said, we have a very broad coverage already as of today. More than 600 terminal operators, ports and terminal operators are already linked. So it's huge coverage that we have around the world addressing this very complex supply chain based on containers on the oceans. So that's the one. Supply chain transparency, it's building trust, it's building, it's supporting a much more efficient process, reducing cost for this very cost-intensive industry. The second is food trust, and you remember the QR code that I've shown you at the very beginning. And food trust is about trust, as I've shown you with this QR code for the consumer in the supermarket, but it's also about health. This is another example that we've built with Carrefour. You've seen the one with the mashed potatoes. This is with the chicken, and this is another market. It's not France, it's Spain. So it's the question if there had been some antibiotic treatments with the chicken. And I think this is something that you as a consumer would like to know. You want to like to know if it's really bio, if this certificate, if this bio product is real, and it's a valuable information, and you want to know how this chicken has been treated. What was part of his food. So it's similar to the solution that I've shown at the beginning with this transparency about the life cycle of the potato. You have exactly the similar with this app on your smartphone in Spain, as you see on the left hand with the chicken, concerning antibiotic treatments and other elements that are important for us as a consumer when we're consuming meat. But as I said, it's not only about bio or certificates or transparency or health, transparency and trust, it's also about health. Some of you might remember this situation some years ago. There has been colibacteria on spinach and green leaves in the US. The problem was that the supplier didn't know where these products have been in the US, in these 50 states, in which stores, which companies, to do what, to take it out, because people get sick and people died. So they couldn't do anything, they couldn't react, they couldn't take out the products. This has been a big problem and took them, as you can see, 6 to 7 years to recover. Just one lot, one day, one product, big problem. And some of you might remember this one, some years ago here in Germany, the EHEC, and there had been a lot of people dying, 53 people just in Germany, because we even didn't know which product was the problem. The sprouts, the tomato, the cucumber, so even more difficult. No transparency, no opportunity to react and to do something. So blockchain, bringing all this information onto the platform, having all these partners will help to be fast, to be efficient, to be able to react, to have some other means to drive health and transparency and trust, as I said. So similar to the avocado that I've explained with supply chain and trade lands, we have chosen another use case, that's the mango. So if you have the mango packaged in a supermarket and you want to know where is this mango coming from, we started this project with Walmart, the biggest retailer in the world, and it took Walmart, as you can see on the right, it took them nearly 7 days. Nearly 7 days to find out where this product has been delivered from. Where does it come from? Which plantation in South America? So 7 days is completely unacceptable. Just remember this EHEC and colibacteria and so on. So you need to speed up, you need to be fast. So now we've brought all these partners out of the supply chain, from the farmer with the plantation in South America up to the store, all the parties in that supply chain onto the platform, and now it took 2 seconds. Just one click. Just one click on your computer, just one click on your smartphone, wherever you check this data, having all this information on the platform, it's very, very fast. So this is then based on this, the next solution that we've built, IBM Food Trust, based on all these thinking, all these analysis that we've been running based on this use case, bringing all these, the growers, the CPGs, the food retailers, the logistics, the certification bodies, very important to certify all the documents, to certify the documents of origin, the bio, everything that's really important in this process that I've just described. So all of them, bringing them onto the platform, and similar to TradeLens, with 160 companies on the platform, we have 150 already on this platform, also running since about 1.5 years, steadily growing day by day in a global perspective. So we started very early with Walmart in 2016 with the mango and also with the pork. And this was another use case, pork in China, and we've been running this use case together with a Chinese university concerning traceability and safety to really ensure that this is really pork. It's really pork, and it's coming out of different farms and coming out of China. And this was the second use case. The companies that you can see in the middle are the foundational members. We started with Walmart, but a lot of other very well-known companies in the world that joined us, and now we are live with this solution and have 4 use cases. The first is the tracing to speed up if something's happening and you need to react, that we call food safety. With the tracing module, we're focusing on the supply chain optimization, bringing all these certificates onto the platform, very similar to TradeLens. But here it's around the certificates of the product, it's the certificate of the farmer, it's the certificate of all parties being part of this ecosystem. And then we're addressing also at the very new module, food waste, the topic of freshness. As we throw away about one third of everything that has been produced in this space on food, 1/3 we're throwing away globally. So we are addressing this to increase transparency, to make it even easier to understand how long I could use, how long I could eat product and try to be much more reactive in the delivery, the supply chain process, with all these vegetables and fruits coming from everywhere in the world being shipped to Europe and North America and so on. So freshness is the third module we're focusing on, and then the fourth is consumer demand. This is what I've shown you with the mashed potato, with the QR code, what I've shown you with the chicken, the antibiotic treatment. So make it as easy, as transparent for you, for us, for me as a consumer being in a supermarket to understand what it is about. So that's the second. The third is something I like the most, honestly, because it addresses one of the key challenges we have today in our world. This is plastic and this is waste. And there's a social company that's called Plastic Bank. Plastic Bank that has been founded by a billionaire in the US, Dave Cass, and he founded this company not to address the plastic very early, as we have the discussion with these plastics in the supermarket. It's not getting out the plastic out of the ocean, it's the middle part. Avoid the plastic that exists, that's out there, to get into the ocean. So they are focusing with this social company that's called Plastic Bank. They focus on the very poor parts of the world because they have by far the worst waste management infrastructure. So these are the biggest problems we have. It's not Germany, right? It's not France. It's not Canada. It's Haiti. It's the Philippines. So where we have really poor people and where the problem is a big one. So what do we do here? I take the other picture that's even more, I think, impressive. So they are motivating these people living there to collect the plastic, to collect it, to bring it to the Plastic Bank branch, to weigh it, to sort it, and then it will be part of the production process of companies that are joining this solution. So they will use the collected and sorted plastic and build the so-called social plastic. So some pellets that these companies like Henkel here in Germany use to produce their shampoo bottles, that they use to produce their products. So being in a supermarket, you find at some Henkel shampoo or whatever product you buy, social plastic somewhere on the bottle, and this proves that this bottle has been produced out of social plastic coming out of this project somewhere out of the world, and Henkel so far has 35 tons collected, just Henkel 35 tons of plastic that has been then brought into this process again. So then you might ask the question, so why blockchain? Just to collect plastic and bring this back to the social pellets? And so what we do here is direction. Let me see now, can't see this. Okay, we stay here. What we do here is we need to motivate the people to collect it. So they get something for collecting it, for doing the work. They get a kind of money, but it's not true money, it's a digital token. And therefore we need the blockchain. Why a digital token? Why not money? Because about 2 billion of the people in the world don't have a bank account. So that's quite difficult, especially in these areas. They don't have a bank account. And this is a very tricky environment with some cash, right? This cash might be gone easier than you can think because of, so we have decided, together with Social Bank, with Plastic Bank, to bring this digital token onto the blockchain. And the other interesting thing is not only the digital token, the other thing is what they can buy for this money. It's not only food, they also can buy education for their children. They can also buy heat for the winter because they're just living in slums, right? They don't have nice houses as we have. So they can buy a lot of things, a lot of products, a lot of valuable means that help them to improve their life, to improve education for their children and so on. So this is, and therefore I said, this is one of the projects that I like the most. Everything is based on IBM blockchain. This project is running since about half a year, and we have already 2 companies out of Germany that are joining. One that recently joined, there was a big blog post together with IBM, is Aldi, in the other that I mentioned lasting for about 1 year. I think Henkel, with, as it says, 35 tons of plastic just in 1 year have been collected with just one company. They are already joining here in this space. So it's addressing one of the key challenges, plastic. It's using the abilities that blockchain can deliver with a digital token, brings the community together, and even in areas of the world that are very poor and have some real difficulties in their life and infrastructure. So, 3 examples: TradeLens addressing the supply chain with Maersk, Food Trust addressing the health and transparency and trust thing in our food daily life, and then having this plastic bank. These are 3 solutions that are live and in production, and all of them are based on the Hyperledger Fabric and blockchain technology that we are using. And the reason why I've picked these 3 is to prove that it's working. As we can read every day, there are recent some McKinsey reports saying that 90% of the blockchain projects don't work. They are stuck, they are in a proof of concept mode, and they don't go ahead and don't progress. Yes, there are many different reasons why, and the hype is gone, and we are now in the consolidation phase, yes, but blockchain is delivering value. Blockchain is delivering value for the company, for the world, for enterprises, so there's a lot we can do together. And the last thing I would like to mention, we have built these solutions, big solutions, global solutions with 3 big companies, yes, but as they have invested, like Maersk and Walmart, they have already invested a lot of money. They have invested with their people, with their skills, with their resources. It's now very easy for the small and medium companies. It's not very easy for startups. It's not easy for everyone to join these platforms because these platforms have been built. And as I said, we started with about 90 in this early adopter program, now ramping up to 160. In the Food Trust, we are at 130. This is definitely not the end. We want to go for 200, 300, 500, 1,000 companies on these platforms to make the picture even more complete, to increase the transparency, to increase the efficiency and make life easier for these companies and these people. So my point is, it's very easy for companies to join as someone has built a technology-based solution, globally delivered, and should be quite easy, as we have seen in many discussions with many companies, that this is working. So thanks very much for your patience, and thanks very much for listening. If you have any questions, I'm happy. It's the end. Thank you very much.